of waiting before the Finnish prosecutor general finally decided to bring charges against her. And Tunisia grants asylum to Algerian Christian, but persecution remains. A Christian man who escaped from Algeria after being jailed and persecuted for blasphemy against Islam has received temporary asylum in neighboring Tunisia. Worthy News learned. Israel set to carry out airstrikes in Syria for a second straight night. The IDF reportedly bombed targets in Syria after midnight on Thursday in what would be the second such strike in less than 24 hours. And Israel to extend the green pass for the vaccinated and recovered until the end of 2021. The Health Ministry announced Wednesday that it will be extending the validity of the green pass for those vaccinated against COVID-19 or who have recovered from coronavirus through 2021. And survivor who testified against Nazi Commander Eichmann dies at 91. Joseph Salman Kleinman, who survived the Auschwitz-Birkenau death camp and later testified at the trial of Nazi Commander Adolf Eichmann in Jerusalem, has died. The Holocaust survivor was 91. And record-breaking 536 abortion restrictions introduced since January. According to data supplied by Guttmacher Institute, this year has so far already seen an unprecedented 536 abortion restrictions introduced across 46 states. 61 of these restrictions have become law across 13 states. And Biden issues National Day of Prayer proclamation that does not include the word God. President Biden has issued a National Day of Prayer proclamation in which the word God does not appear once. And pastor arrested in the United Kingdom for preaching biblical values in public. A 7-year-old British pastor was arrested in London last month for publicly preaching on the biblical view of marriage and sexuality. Christian minister Peter Simpson reported in an article for the Conservative Woman, Pastor John Sherwood was arrested on April 23rd while preaching from the Bible in the center of Oxbridge. And Biden is weighing unfreezing $1 billion for Iran. The Biden administration is weighing unfreezing $1 billion in Iranian funds that the country could use for humanitarian relief, CNN reported on Thursday. And dozens killed as shootings rocks Rio de Janeiro. Dozens of people, including a police officer, were shot and killed Thursday in Rio de Janeiro, one of Brazil's most violent states and cities. And in Jerusalem, 15 arrested in fresh clashes in East Jerusalem, Sikhi Jarrah neighborhood. Palestinians and Israelis hurled rocks and chairs at each other in the tense East Jerusalem neighborhood on Thursday before Israeli police moved in to separate them, arresting at least 15 people, all of them Palestinians. In one incident, a Jewish-Israeli man fired into the air after a vehicle was set on fire. And Biden administration holding nearly 25,000 migrant children without parents. Nearly 25,000 migrant children were in the custody of the government apart from their families in early May. And Pakistani persecution, another Christian nurse accused of blasphemy. In the third such incident this year, A Christian nurse has been hounded and threatened into hiding by Muslim colleagues who accused her of blaspheming against Islam last week, Morningstar News reports. Pakistan ranks 5th on the U.S. Open Doors watch list of countries where Christians are persecuted. And in China, Christian persecution. 2 preachers arrested and detained in Beijing. On April 28, 2 Christian preachers in China were arrested and placed in detention in what has been described as the Chinese government's efforts to root out house churches in the country, International Christian Concern reports. No reason has yet been given for why the preachers have been detained. Both preachers were part of a Zion church, a large Beijing house church that was founded in 2007 and shut down by authorities in 2018. And finally, in Nigeria, an American pastor and Nigerian lawyer commended for rebuilding church destroyed in 2016 massacre by Fulani militants. The governor of Nigeria's Benue State has commended American missionary pastor William Delvin and Nigerian human rights lawyer Emmanuel Ogbe for rebuilding a church that was destroyed during the 2016 massacre of civilians in the Agatu municipality by Fulani militant herdsmen. After visiting the devastated community in 2020, Delvin and Ogbe raised necessary funds and organized the rebuilding of the area's Methodist church in time for its opening on Easter Sunday of this year. And this concludes our religious news report brought to you by Mobile Christian Radio. Abel Santos reporting. Until next time, here, there, or in the air, have a blessed Lord's Day in spite of the coronavirus.